Today on our show we have a very special guest of mine, someone who, in my conversations with him, I found really loves the sport of cricket. I don't really know how to introduce him. Is he a runner? Is he an activist? Is he a cricket enthusiast? I think there's only one way to describe him. He's Pranav Savla. Welcome to the channel, Pranav.
Thank you so much, Shravan. It's an absolute honor to be here, talking cricket with you today.
Yeah, so we're gonna be talking about the RCB versus RR match today. So Pranav, I wanted to ask you, as an RCB fan, RCB has been off to a great start this year. Is there something special in the air, something brewing?
I think it's just balance.
Hmm.
If you're an RCB fan, any RCB fan will know that we have lacked balance. And I don't just mean the fact that we've had 2-3 great standout batters and the rest of the team is struggling. I mean, this time everyone from the batting to the bowling has been pulling their weight. One of the things that cannot easily define a player of the match, it becomes that ensemble cast is much tighter, and there I feel like that those teams do better, and they have a much better shot at the top stages. We can actually see this in multiple cases. Both the ICC winning teams that India put up in the last 8 months were ensemble casts. Complete balance in the entire team. Everyone pulled their weight, and I think that's that is what has led to the situation here. Also, I think I would never discount a young face in terms of captaincy. I have really lauded Rajat Patidar's captaincy this year. I think he's setting the right fields. The way he cycles through his bowlers, especially in the middle overs, I think is absolutely scintillating. And it shows. You look at RCP's economy rate in the middle overs; it's the lowest of all teams. It's one of the lowest of all teams this year. Even other than that, I think the changes that he has made, or the lack thereof, throughout the tournament, he's kept the core of the team the same. Between matches, he's rarely made any changes, but then when required, he did make those. So I think overall, I think he's a very safe captain that they have chosen.
Yeah, I think that's a very interesting point that you make. The fact that RCB over the last few years have really picked very batting heavy squads. I think even last year bowling was a huge concern for them. They were able to put up scores but not defend them. And the fact that they've gone past the three batter formula. I think I remember the days of AB de Villiers, Chris Gayle, and Virat Kohli, and they were the entire team. So I personally I was doubting the RCB lineup initially, but the planning and the execution, especially through those middle overs, and especially the rotation of the bowlers, has been incredible from Rajat Patidar.
I would, Shravan, I would never discount sides that don't look good on paper. We have seen on many occasions in the IPL that often the side that wins is not the one that looks amazing on paper or looks the best on paper. I go back to 2018, 2021 and 23 with Chennai Super Kings. The side never looked... They were never favorites on paper, right. But going into the tournament, they play good cricket, and I think the most important thing is that you play good cricket. Your basics are very good. Another team that comes to mind is outside the IPL is I personally really applaud and rate Netherlands cricket. The team doesn't look good on paper, but then they play good. They have the good basics of cricket down. Good running between the wickets. They've got good fielding. They rotate through their options very well, and they have a good sense of the game. And that's what's going on here as well.
Right. And I mean, the RCBs, they've done so well away from home too. They've just been amazing away from home, but somehow in the Chinnaswamy they've lost 3 in a row. I know RCB's never had a great home record, but to have lost 3 games in a row, what's wrong, Pranav, here?
I think it's partly the pitch. Honestly speaking, the pitch doesn't look like its normal Chinnaswamy wicket. The air is, the weather itself is not as cool, so it's a little warmer. The pitch is a little loose. It's a little more loose. It's a little more tired. It seems tired. It doesn't seem to be as nippy as it was. The outfield is still lightning, but the pitch itself seems a bit slow. The ball's not coming onto the bat as well. You saw this because even the other teams were struggling in the initial overs when RCB would bowl. Also, I would say there's just something about it that a lot of players aren't used to yet. It just doesn't suit their playing style, which it is aggressive, but it also requires a lot of not all of the players are ones that hit straight sixes. Even if you look at someone like Padikkal, he doesn't hit too many of them over the top. He is still a dry, he slogs, but then he's comparative to some of the other finishers in the IPL and some of the other players that RCB themselves have had. He's still a little bit more of a wristy player, as I would say. So I just feel it's not suiting their playing style. But I'll tell you one thing: this is a problem because if you consider mathematically, if RCB were to win all of their 7 away games, which seems to be the case because they've won 5 already. They will still end up with 14 points. And in this year, honestly, I just don't think 14 points will cut it to qualify. To be very honest with you, I don't even think 16 will cut it, but 14 is definitely not going to cut it to make that top 4. A lot of teams are looking very, very good this year. So I think they will have to win towards the back end, at least a cheeky game or two in the Chinnaswamy this year.
So what do you think they need to change about their team? Obviously, they've got a winning formula down away from home, but what needs to change to really make that thing click in Chinnaswamy?
I think, and my gut feeling says bring in Romario Shepherd in the Chinnaswamy. They brought him in finally against Punjab in Chandigarh, and Romario Shepherd put in a very, very respectable performance in Chandigarh. Romario Shepherd is a bowler that I think will do well in Chinnaswamy. I also feel maybe they can switch around their bowling combination a little bit. And I would actually bring in Padikkal to open at the Chinnaswamy. I think that could be an interesting option if you look at some of his other games. Padikkal has performed the best for RCB opening. And such a pitch, right, which will slow down. What we've seen is it's kind of slowing a little through that inning. The power play seems to look a bit decent, and then after that it goes down a bit. I think Padikkal would do very well in those first few overs. Maybe Kohli can drop down to a number 3 position and bring Padikkal up to opening. I think that might be a very interesting thing to do at the Chinnaswamy for the power play. And finally, I think it's also a bit of mentality. RCB is currently, they are looking to go very aggressive against the ball, and it's a very good thing. Unlike some other teams, they are actually, they're taking measured risks. But I still feel like they might be trying a bit too hard at the Chinnaswamy to hit because of the reputation of the ground. I think it's important to maybe take a little more of a measured approach. You get a 200 on board over there with RCB's bowling caliber. I think it should be defendable. But I mean, especially looking at that game where Phil Salt got run out, I think it's just against the Delhi Capitals. I think they just ran through it a bit too quickly. And once they're losing a wicket or two in early wickets in the power play, which is what's happening at the Chinnaswamy, a panic starts to set in, and then they become too defensive. So I think they need to hold down the fort a little more so that at the end they can attack and get a few more.
Yeah, so typically what we looked at, Pranav, in my analysis is that the first 8 overs we were talking about being 64 for 1. Here in all the analysis videos that I've done for Chinnaswamy, and what RCB have done time and time again is lost 2 to 3 wickets in that first 8 overs, and it's really cost them as it goes on.
Yes,
because the first 8 overs there's a lot of help for the seamers, and I think they've done a brilliant job in picking someone like Bhuvneshwar Kumar and Josh Hazelwood to bowl them in the first 8 overs. But with the bat, I think they need to slow down a little bit.
Yes,
like you said, and in the middle phases, do you feel like Patidar is not doing enough through the middle phases, or is he just being brought in a little bit too early because wickets have fallen off?
Look at the Chinnaswamy. I feel Patidar is coming in a little too early. I like his strike rotation. He's doing a bit of that, but I think what's happening is Patidar as a captain, when he's being brought in overs 5, 6, 7. What's happening is it's just an added pressure, right? He then doesn't want to get out because he realizes that he is the anchor to the rest of the innings, especially when someone like Virat Kohli is going out early, right? You lose Phil Salt, you lose Virat Kohli, you lose Padikkal, you lose all of your three, guns. And then what's happening is Patidar has to bat with the middle order, and the middle order is not one that can rotate. You cannot have a Jitesh Sharma rotating for the next 10 overs. That's not his playing style. Neither is it Tim David's. So I think I think Patidar is just trying to be a little more defensive, and you can't blame him for it. It is the situation that he is being put in. So I think that I look, if the top three are able to hold down the fort for the first half of the game, till the ball gets a little older, till the seam stops annoying them a bit, till there's a little less help from the surface in terms of seam and swing. I think then you actually will be able to get in Patidar. If Patidar comes in, then I think he has a much bigger impact because he's able to play his natural game.
Right. And do you think that this is a possible cause for concern that they don't have a transition player between Jitesh Sharma and Rajat Patidar? Rajat Patidar obviously acts as a transition between the top order and then the really, really powerful hitters like Jitesh Sharma, Romario, Shakur, Liam Livingston, and Tim David. Is it a cause for concern? Because from what go ahead.
This is why I feel like you need to have a Virat Kohli at 3 instead of a Padikkal at 3. If you look at the number 3 position, numbers 3 and 4 are generally the anchors in the team. They need to hold down the fort. They need to make sure that wickets around them do not fall. And even if they're falling, they need to make sure there's someone from that staying till the end to be able to hit in the final overs. This is why Padikkal is doing a good job at number 3, but I would rather have Virat Kohli because you do not want a slogger at number 3. When the wicket falls, you already have Phil Salt, and Phil Salt will give you a few runs at the beginning if he plays that first over properly. And so I feel like it's better to have Padikkal open because you have two transition players suddenly. Suddenly you have a buffer between your explosive opening and your explosive middle order. Remember, both of these are striking at over 200. You cannot have this happening in the middle overs. It's not going to work. So that's why I think Virat Kohli and Patidar, especially if they string up a partnership together, we've seen this happen in the away games. I go back to Mumbai, RCB versus the Mumbai Indians. You've seen this happen. You've seen both of them stringing a beautiful partnership together. So that's why I would want to see Kohli drop down the order a bit more. Play at number 3. He's being able to. His natural game is not to hit in the power play. He's supporting Phil Salt well right now, but I feel like his natural game right now is to, especially at the Chinnaswamy, where Phil Salt's record itself is not honestly that great. In this year, he's not been able to get his eye in as well. I think it makes more sense for Kohli to drop down a number.
Yeah, that's interesting. I think Virat Kohli hasn't played at 3 since the last time I can remember him doing that is 2014, 2015, right?
No, I think he did play at 3 a few times. I remember 2017 he did. They promoted Mandeep Singh up the order, I believe, if I was not wrong.
Right.
This was when nothing was going right for them. Kohli, I remember coming in at 3. And I think, in fact, in the 2021-22 seasons. So basically, Kohli has always played at number 3 when things aren't going right, because I feel like he's tried to switch back to his more natural position. But and honestly, things are not going that wrong right now, but this could be a cause of concern for them. So I think he should drop down, at least at home games, or until Phil Salt gets his record a bit better in Chinnaswamy. He's got a few games, and if he can get his record up, better, that's well and good. But I feel like Kohli can drop down. Also, remember one more thing is Kohli runs very hard. And Padikkal is sorry to say this, but he's not the best runner. He's not built for that kind of a game. So I feel like while Padikkal is a great batter in terms of his ability, his strike rate is beautiful. But I just don't see it making sense for him to bat 16, 17, 18 overs at number 3, and that's what a number 3 is supposed to do.
Right.
We have seen this from him, like time and time again. You can see after he scores his 50, he's struggling to keep up. And so I just think he it's better for him to come opening, play his shots, give the team that jump start in the power play, but then have Kohli anchoring at 3, because we need someone to play till the end.
Yeah, that's a very interesting point. But we've talked about something that could be a cause for concern. But let's also talk about something that's been going very much right for RCB this year. After so long, RCB have one of the best pace bowling attacks in the IPL. Josh Hazelwood has been steaming in. Bhuvneshwar Kumar has been picking wickets, and Yash Dayal is looking really, really fresh. What do you think about that?
I'll tell you something. There are two aspects to this. Yes, first of all, the power play, RCB is absolutely nailing it. What is important, and what I think is the best part of this whole thing, is that these guys are getting early wickets. You look at this team; they're getting wickets in the first 2 to 3 overs, and none of these bowlers are trying anything unorthodox. It is all just you look at Hazelwood. He's hitting it's the basics of cricket all over again. They're hitting good lengths. They're keeping their lines tight. They're using what they can from the surface, especially in the second innings, and they're not looking to try anything weird. The other thing that I really like about this team, it's a very underrated thing. They're minimizing their extras.
Right.
If you look at RCB, they've not given a lot of extra runs. It was a big cause of concern in the early days for I believe Punjab was struggling with this quite a bit. A lot of wides. Hyderabad has done this a lot as well. RCB has minimized their extras, and I think this is it comes back to bite you, especially in the games that RCB has had, where they've won with not the biggest margins, especially when bowling second. So
Right.
I think it's important that they keep doing that. The other aspect of this, and I think it's a great one, and this goes to Rajat Patidar as a captain as well. Is, as I've mentioned earlier, RCB has had a scintillating middle overs run this time round.
Yeah.
They've bossed the middle overs, not just in terms of wickets, but more so in terms of the economy. The bowlers are keeping it tight. They're not letting batters run through and hit them for boundaries. And the most important thing is that even when a few come, I think these guys are really good at keeping their cool. That's the best part about having an experienced bowling attack. You've got two of the veterans of international cricket here, and both of them are very good at keeping their cool if they get hit for a few in the over. They come back, they bowl very well. The last part about this is the death bowling. It's historically been a problem for RCB. They've given a lot in the death. It's not, I wouldn't say it's picture perfect this year as well. I felt like they gave a little too much to Punjab in those last few overs, for example. And they nearly lost that game to Mumbai if Pandya had gone on a bit longer. But I think they're doing a much better job. And I really want to rate Yash Dayal in the death. From where he has come, we all know his story. He's come from that 28-run over against KKR. He honestly, at the beginning of last season, he didn't have the best few matches. He was giving quite a few away. I think he's really improved his game in the death overs. He's kept things very, very tight. And I think the best part about this is the way he's matured. If you look at his economy, it's very low. I don't think it crosses over 8. I don't have the statistics in front of me, but it is around that 8 mark, which is very surprising to see, especially when you bowl to these batting friendly teams today. So I think we all need to give credit to Yash Dayal, because he's a youngster that's been groomed well, and he's come out. He's taken wickets, but more importantly, he's kept his economy tight.
Yeah. I mean, we obviously know that Yash Dayal, I think one point that changed his life is probably that over against KKR, and then another is probably the one against CSK last year in the final game. It was, I think, from there it's just been an upward trajectory for him.
Yes.
Another reinvention that we've seen at RCB this year is probably Krunal Pandya, an underrated player in my opinion. That he's captain Baroda, he's captain LSG for a year. I think a lot of people forget about that. a very,
Yes.
very smart player, but how many people expected him to come in and have the impact that he did?
I'll tell you, a lot of people, a lot of people were naming him. A lot of people were naming him a part timer at the beginning of the season. He's bowling 4 overs.
Right.
He's completing his quota of overs every single time. And what's good about him is that he's trusting his skills. All of his deliveries are nothing. They're just clean. They're his proper off spin. They work exactly according to what he wants them to do. And he's not trying to do what some of the other spinners do, which is make batters chase after him. He's keeping his defensive trait alive. He's making sure that his economy is low. And honestly, some of the wickets that he's taken, I go back to those three against KKR, especially that one. I think it was a bowled of Andre Russell, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, and
it was,
yeah.
Andre Russell and the way he brought down Rahane. I think those were absolutely beautiful deliveries. Very clean. The other player that I want to give a shout out to is Suyash Sharma. He's someone that we've not talked about throughout this season. He was there. If a lot of people remember, he was actually with the RCB team before as well. But he has bowled very, very well as a youngster. And I think he's bowled with a lot of maturity as a youngster. He has known exactly what to do. He's been put under the pump a little bit, but he has never leaked runs. And from young spinners, the scare is that you will always leak runs. I mean, even if you look at Kuldeep Yadav, that 27 run over of Moeen Ali comes to mind.
Yeah.
Young spinners generally are a little, because they want to get wickets, so they're not afraid of making the batter chase after them. But then in the process, their economy gets destroyed. So Yash Sharma has kept it very, very clean with his economy, and he's taken the occasional wicket here and there as well.
Yeah, I think you bring up an excellent point. I think we talk a lot about Krunal Pandya, how he's come in, but for a bowler like Suyash Sharma, for RCB to back him this far, I think even KKR didn't back him that far when they had Varun Chakravarti and Sunil Narine. They didn't give him as much of an exposure, but he's done brilliantly in RCB.
The one thing I will say about RCB as a team, as a franchise, and we've known this throughout the years, like Mumbai, they really back their players. They take time with their players. They groom them. They spend time. They've done that with Rajat Patidhar. That's what has turned him into the player that he is now. They've done that with Yash Dayal. That's what's turned him into the player that he is now. They've done that with Chahal. Chahal's gone and he's doing some amazing things right now. He's for Punjab, he's bowling absolutely beautifully. And they've done that with so many. They've done that with Washington Sundar. They've done that with KL Rahul. RCB is a very, very clean. It seems to be a very clean place to learn and grow, because the team puts in every time whichever players they buy in the auction, they go after them, they go behind them, and they stay with them, they back them for a long time.
Yeah, that's very interesting. I mean, when we're talking about players that they're backing and retaining, I think we have to also talk about the other side of the picture. RCB is playing against RR. None of their retained players have performed this year. It's been a tragedy for them. I mean, Shimron Hetmeyer, Dhruv Jurel. The fact that the minute they have 9 runs to win of 1 over, they immediately just lose the plot. What do you think about that, Pranav?
Few things. I have not checked the news recently. Last I knew, Sanju Samson will still may not be there tomorrow. Yeah. You can and if that is to be the case, that is a very big blow for them. Sanju Samson is more than a batter. I think he is a way more experienced captain. I know Riyan Parag is young. He's captained before, but to be brutally honest with you right now, some of the things that Riyan Parag has done as a captain, I'm a bit confused about. I'm not too sure. Of course, he will learn and grow with time. But right now, I'm just not too sure about about the experience that he's had with captaincy. I think he's just a little. There's some nerves. There's something just keeping him back a little bit. And other than this, I think it's just choking. the team just struggles to score those final runs, and it's a bad patch, and it's a real struggle for them because, as you mentioned, their entire middle order seems to be afloat right now, unable to really do much. What I will say will be a difference is if they play Vaibhav Suryavanshi tomorrow. I think that Chinnaswamy pitch will really support him as a player, and honestly speaking, that will help them get not just a start, but the way he played in the previous game showed a lot of maturity, and I feel like he could steady a ship if required through some of the middle overs. Because if you look at RR, like RCB, they've had a similar problem. They have been amazing in terms of scoring in those few overs, but then if a few wickets fall by the 7th or 8th over, suddenly they're struggling. If you remember against CSK, a few wickets fell by the 9th over, and what looked like a 200-220 score became 182.
Right.
So I think he can be a very interesting person to steady the ship for RR. But I feel they really need to back him. And I feel RR needs to continue backing it's the rest of its players as well. Someone there needs to find form. And honestly speaking, out of all of their retained players, a lot of them are gun players. You mentioned Shimron Hetmyer, you mentioned Dhruv Jurel. They are gun players. They are players who will go after the ball. And Chinnaswamy is as good as a place as any to do that.
Yeah, I mean, my real concern with RR was how the players that they picked in the auction. I don't really think Dhruv Jurel is worth 14 crores. He's a gun player, yeah, but can you buy a player like Dhruv Jurel's caliber for cheaper? Yes. And also the bowling attack, Pranav. Jofra Archer is their main bowler. Tushar Deshpande hasn't bowled, and on top of that, the bowlers picked them the most wickets. Hasaranga, they've dropped him 3 times.
This is what I'm talking about when I say I'm not sure about the think tank. I'm not sure about this captaincy over here. The whole thing is looking a bit questionable. Jofra Archer has been very much not what they wanted him to be. I compare Jofra Archer's story to the Rishabh Pant story from LSG. He's faring a bit better in terms of his price, but he's not been the story. And to be honest, it's going to be a struggle for him at the Chinnaswamy. You cannot have a bowler that just comes and hits the deck hard at Chinnaswamy, because if the ball's not moving, then all the batter has to do is time it. It's such a quick outfield, and the ground is so small that all they need is some pace on, and all Jofra Archer will really give you is pace on currently. That is a very questionable. I mean, the other idea is Tushar Deshpande. I fail to understand why they're not playing him. He is a bowler of immense skill. We have seen what he's done at the Chennai Super Kings. I don't understand why they're not playing him, and Hasaranga as well. You see, it's an entire think tank process. I think that what they're trying to do is go for a slightly deeper batting. Jofra Archer can give you some runs, and they're trying to build up that batting. But honestly, what is the impact player rule for then? Then at that point, are you really using the impact player rule? Even the impact substitutions, to me at the moment, just seem a bit not too sure. So right now, what I honestly feel like in the last few games is there's some panic that's set in the think tank. They're not sure what's going on, especially with Sanju Samson missing out now, and everything surrounding him. Sanju Samson is the person that calms this entire ship. He, in my eyes, is quite an adept captain. And not having him, I think, has set some panicking, and especially given what had happened in the first few matches.
Yeah, I mean, again, with the fact that it's not what they lack, it's how they're using it, I feel.
Yes.
Rahul Dravid is an amazing coach. We've seen what he can do with India. There are senior players in that team. Shimron Hetmyer has played a lot of T20 cricket. Jofra Archer has played a lot of T20
Archer
cricket.
has played so long. Wanindu Hasaranga has played so many years of cricket.
Yeah, and it's the immense amount of resources they have. They've just not utilized them.
Sanju Samson himself has played for so long. I mean, I've seen him pre-COVID. Samson has played for years now. And he has been with the Rajasthan Royals for years. So if anyone knows that think tank better than most other players, it's Samson.
Yeah, I mean, I think RR really seems to be the antithesis of RCB. I mean, RCB have been the perfect planners. They've really come in and they hit all the nails right on top. But RR, they've just not been able to crack it at all.
RR is, to me, as I said, it's currently looking like they need to go back to the drawing board, figure it out. I wouldn't really mind if they make 4 to 5 changes tomorrow, as long as those changes make sense. Bring in the players that are required, back the players that you believe in. Dhruv Jurel has also played. He's not a very senior player, but he has played a decent amount of cricket over the past few years. He's represented India. He's done well. Use that. And I think Sanju Samson, even though he's not captain on field, he's definitely still there. And I think his cricketing mind is very adept. So I'd want to see that being put to use. I honestly don't know what is going on. As you mentioned, Rahul Dravid is an excellent coach. So I'm not sure what is going on over there. But I feel my gut says that it's some sort of a panic that's set into the team and to the think tank, because we're getting close to the business end of the tournament, and let's face it, they're not sitting pretty on the table.
Yeah, so I think that about sums up what we need to really analyze the match. We've looked at both the teams. What are their struggles? How well are they doing? So let's finish off with the edge. Which team you would give it to? I think it's pretty obvious here. Do you think Chinnaswamy is going to be Winnaswamy tomorrow?
I don't think it's as obvious. I don't think it's as obvious because of the way that RCB have not been able to do too well at the Chinnaswamy. But I think it still favors them a little bit. I would give it a 65-35 to RCB, given the way that pitch will work. I will say this: it's not worked for them before. But I will say it still does make a little bit of sense batting first. We're not seeing too much dew on this field either. The pitch is only going to get slower with time. If they can figure out their first 8 overs, I think batting first is a win for them.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. Also, given the fact that RR have been terrible at chasing totals, that they really should have won.
Yes, that game against the game where they lost by 2 runs.
LSG,
against LSG, yes. I fail to understand how that was done. Some of the ways in which the players got out seemed a bit seemed just like there was some lack of confidence or panic in the way that they got out. This is not how those players generally play.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be really interesting to see how RR come back from such an embarrassing defeat. But I have to agree with you. At the end of the day, RCB have about a 60-40 edge, in my opinion. They're coming with a lot of momentum into this game, and RR have just looked really, really low. So
Yes.
that was the analysis. I hope the viewers enjoyed. I hope this was a very refreshing change. It was for me. I don't have to speak into a phone the entire time. It was a wonderful conversation, Pranav. Thank you so much.
Likewise, my honor. Thanks, man.
Okay.